Hello. How's everybody out there? Hello? Hello out there. Hi, Nicole. Hello. That's good. People can see me. We are trying something a little different this week. We're actually trying something that our friend Yafa tried, and we tried to pre-schedule a live event. Let us know if anything was different for you, or if it's just fine, then that's okay either way. It's so great to be here. Thanks so much for being there, folks. Welcome to our Wednesday afternoon live stream pop-up Art Hive studio live stream. So many words there. You can kind of tell the kind of day I'm having. I hope that wherever you are, that you're doing okay and that everything is, everything is good. Am I still here or have I gone somewhere? Oh, it's a lot better. Oh, that's good. Oh, that's very good. Okay, that's good. Thank you. You know what? If you like this, if you like how we've been doing things today, let me know why it's better if you can. That would be really great. And I'm just going to, let's see, check in with my other thing. Let's see, here we go. Okay, so for those of you who might be joining us for the first time, thanks so much. Hello, Simone. I don't know about you, but it's been kind of gray, sort of slightly rainy day here in Oshawa. It was one of those days where we woke up and there wasn't a whole lot of sunlight right away. And you know what? I need sunlight to help me have my best day. I'm reaching for it. I see it out there. I see it out there. But on days like this, I feel a little sluggish. I feel a little low. And I don't know if anyone else out there is feeling that way. But if you are, know that you're not alone. I'm really excited to actually acknowledge that feeling today and seek out something a little more, I don't know, explore, well, resilience. Resilience in the face of acknowledging what we're experiencing, what we're feeling, not, sort of pushing to get through it all, but just sort of working with what we have to find a kind of peace or contentment or just being present so that we can notice all the loveliness in every single moment. So that's where I'm at today, and that's kind of going to inspire the artwork I make. We'll see what happens. But if you're on that same page with me, please let me know. And hello Simone, hello Nicole, hello Wendy. Welcome everyone who's tuning in. Thank you for being here. As always, same rules or guidelines apply for our live stream pop-up art studios here on Facebook. We ask that everyone be supportive and encouraging towards one another, and probably more important, be supportive and encouraging to yourself as much as you possibly can. We know it's not always easy, but if you're having trouble with that inner critic and it's not letting you create or play or explore or do whatever you need to do in the moment, let us know. Maybe we can talk to it. Maybe we can be there for one another and help that inner critic settle down a little bit, even if it's just for a little while. Hello, Joanna. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We have kind of a lovely cross Canada thing going right now. That's super cool. The other thing we ask folks too, of course, just like if we were in the actual studio space, if anyone's having a difficult day and perhaps we're not providing what you need, we really do invite you to reach out for those other supports out there that can help you have your best day. So for example, if folks are watching, if you're going to participate in the chat, if you've been using or drinking today, we're just going to ask that you take a break. Reach out to those other supports that can have you help you have your best day. There's no judgment at all, but there are folks who use the stream as they did the space for recovery and harm reduction. No judgment at all, but we do want to be mindful of one another, that we're doing what we can to not trigger people and be there for one another in a way that's nourishing and supportive. The last and the most important thing of all, of course, if anything happens here that makes you feel uncomfortable or weird or, I don't know, just not good, please let me know right away. Don't feel like you gotta suck it up or have a stiff upper lip or anything like that. Let me know. Please don't marginalize your own feelings. And you know what? We can work through it. I know it's a little different since we can't talk face to face, but we're going to do what we can to work our way through it, to acknowledge all those things that can come up sometimes. And if there are things that I can do differently to help you feel more supported, if there are things the community can do a little differently to help people feel more grounded, more present in their own goodness, then we'll do our best to try that, right? It's not always easy and it's not always elegant, but you know me. I don't mind an awkward conversation here or there or everywhere. I think I'm pretty good at it. It might be a special skill. Being awkward, that is. Anyways, welcome to everyone. Thank you so much for being here and showing up. And yeah, I hope wherever you are, you're feeling warm and toasty and safe and healthy and happy. All of those things. Hello, Jenny and Sheila. Wonderful to see folks joining in. So let's see. Jenny says, hey, Mary, 4th day post-op today. Woo! Fingers crossed that you're feeling better. Hopefully get into creative mode. You know what? And if, I'm just going to invite everyone to be where you're at to begin. Don't push yourself to do or be anything you're not up to being. And you know what? If you want to make art with me, whether you're working on your own projects or experimenting, working on a similar kind of thing that I'm doing, that's great. But if where you're at is all about just relaxing and listening or watching, or perhaps doing other things too to, help your day just move along in that right way, like doing laundry or washing dishes or working on homework, whatever it might be, right? Do what feels right to you, okay? Don't force that creativity. Just make space for it. Give it permission to come along if it wants to. And you know it will. It always surprises you, when you think you have nothing left to do, nothing left to give, nothing left to create. It's funny how it always finds a way to sneak in somehow. Yeah, but it might not be in a traditional fine arts kind of way. So let's just invite it to join us if we like, make some space for it, and play. Yeah? But I'm so glad it sounds like everything worked well and you're feeling better, Jenny. Oh, I hope everyone out there is feeling okay. And please, yeah, do what you need to do to take care of yourself. So let's get some camera going on the art stuff that I have here. All right. Now I'm taking a page out of Yafa's book. So I don't know if folks had an opportunity to watch last Thursday. The live stream we had on our Facebook page was hosted by Yafa. I'm not going to get your name right. How do I pronounce it? Doily? Go away. Oh, Yafa, I have to take a lesson from you to learn how to say your name properly. That's horrible. But Yafa was repurposing some recycled materials to create some beautiful visual art, just a mixed media, spontaneous creation. And the shape of what she was creating and how she was creating it reminded me of a project that I've actually wanted to do for a long time, which is to create kind of a color wheel. I don't know if you folks know what a color wheel looks like. You've probably seen them before. They're the ones that kind of move around and they have the little window in them so you can see things. I'd like to create something like that for myself, but instead of it being about colors, for it to be a little more abstract and about different feeling states and experiences, things to spark creativity. I've never done this in exactly the same way, but I'm really excited to try. And let's say Simone's saying, Mary, I love how you give this option. Oh yeah, to just listen. Of course. Why not, right? Simone says, sometimes we immediately feel pressure on these virtual events. I so appreciate you emphasize acknowledging where you're at. Today I'm creating a tarot card sketch. Oh wow. Oh wow. I don't know if you feel comfortable sharing your work, but I would love to see an example of that. Again, that's art too. Art and the process of that, like that deck building and using of decks to create and build that relationship with yourself. The intuitive nature, the intuitive dialogue that we can have with ourselves. I love it. Wow, that's beautiful. I can't wait. If you do, no, I'm not the boss of you, but if you want to share images, please feel free. I would love to see something like that. And of course, for folks out there, yeah, I think one of the things that scares us from participating in things, not only virtually, but in real life too, IRL, as the youth say. Not youth, I mean, it's a thing. It's not just youth, it's everyone, right? but it's this idea of we have to show up and be something in a very specific way for someone else, and that there might be this judgment if we're not able to be that for them or for the group. And I never really want to put anyone in that position. I want people to feel comfortable to step in, step out as much as they like, to do what they need to do for their own self-care and well-being. And sometimes that means walking away for a few minutes, or, taking a break, changing things up, throwing something away and trying something new. There's lots of different ways to do that. And yeah, see, I've got my ginormous mug here today, folks. This is another signal of the kind of day I've had. It's not just coffee. I've mixed some hot chocolate in there. Yeah, that's delicious. I needed to do that. I needed to have a little comfort treat for myself. So I invite you to do the same. If there's something in your, wherever you might be, that might help make this day a little more comfortable and lovely for you, go for it. Love it, love it, love it, love it. Okay. And Nicole saying, I did a really interesting experiment this week. I had a blank canvas and a bottle of glow-in-the-dark paint. I painted the canvas completely, coated it with paint. I made a lacy rose. Oh, I saw those. I saw pictures of those, I think, Nicole. I made a lacy rose. I think it was crocheted. And I'm planning on mounting it into the canvas. I draped the lace on the canvas and left it under the light. Oh, wow. When I went to bed and removed the lace, a rose appeared as an illusion in the dark. This is so extraordinary. I don't know it. That sounds like something magical that you can't quite, that a camera might not do justice to, but I would love to see that. It's like you grew an art garden overnight in the dark. The rose bloomed and grew. I love that. Love it so much. For those folks out there who don't know, Nicole, again, I've mentioned it before, and I'm sure many of the people who are watching and listening share this. It's so skillful on so many levels. I haven't yet seen a kind of creative expression, a form, a modality, a technique, whatever it might be, that Nicole hasn't been able to pick up and play with, like pick up in a very joyful way, and really just, I mean, dare I say master? Is that too intense a description? But you're just so skillful. I'm in awe of our creative community. And Joanna says, yep, replying to Nicole, it sounds wonderful. I know, right? And Simone says, sounds amazing. Sometimes I put maple syrup in my coffee when I'm having a bad day. Yes, maple syrup is, I don't think I could live without it. Am I exaggerating? I don't know. But it's maple syrup is a real thing. It is a force of nature that can make anything better. I agree. And Carlos says, hola y'all. Hope you're all doing well and are enjoying these varied springtime days. They are varied, aren't they? Sunny one day, stormy the next, chilly. I mean, that's spring, I suppose. It's spring in Canada. Just when you think that that we're in the clear, that things are warm and toasty and sunny, and that's it. Pull out the sandals, put away your socks. Then you get like a nice blizzard just to wrap things up. And what else are folks working on out there? So we have some illustrations, beautiful artwork for tarot cards. It sounds like Nicole is working on that crocheted, maybe the crocheted roses and more of that painting. I always love to know what people are working on. And sometimes I skulk around on Instagram and if I know who folks are on Instagram, I can go and take a peek and see what you're working on. So if you feel like sharing your Instagram accounts with the Living Room, and if you don't mind me being a bit nosy, I do really love seeing images of what people are working on, or what they've done in the past. I also love going to visit people's blogs or Tumblrs, but I know there's a whole bunch I have to catch up on out there. People have been writing up a storm and I need to catch up. Oh, hello, Momo. Momo saying, hello, Mary and Living Room community. Always happy to be here listening in while I work from my dining room, office, online art hive table. All in one, huh? That's what the pandemic has done for a lot of us. Now everything is in one space. Our brain has to shift gears in so many amazing ways. Anyways, Momo says, thank you for the kind and rich conversation. My ears are with you all. Love it. Oh, it's so glad to have your ears with us. Hello, Momo's ears. And Nicole saying, thank you. Well, of course, I'm just speaking the truth. Nicole says, I'm working on a bunch of things. Of course. I'm making a blanket and a dishcloth. Oh, I wish I could crochet. I've got to learn how to crochet one day. Caitlin Kakesh, hello, Caitlin, saying, I'm picking my tarot card project back up today. Ooh, this is interesting. Are we all turning to this intuitive, creative force? It feels like it's a good time of year for that to happen. Things being planted, things beginning to grow, things in transition, a kind of return to, maybe noticing the things that are not as visible as other things, paying attention to the unseen, the unheard. Oh, I love it so much. And Caitlin, for folks who don't know, is also one of our coordinators who runs the wellness art groups that happen every Tuesday night on Zoom. So if you'd like to join in another really gentle, supportive, creative art making kind of event, super supportive, non-judgmental, come as you are, make what you can, with Caitlin and Kat V, another awesome coordinator, two extraordinary human beings who are just walking alongside all of us and creating. And if you need a little extra support, they're there to provide it. But yeah, so lucky we have so many amazing supports like this in the community. So thank you. Just wanted to shout out to Caitlin, doing such a great job in that group. It's awesome. And Joanna saying, I'm working on a magazine collage inspired by the Instagram artist Joanna Goodman. Okay, I got to check out Joanna Goodman. That's amazing. Brilliant. Thank you for that shout out. I love learning about other artists and makers out there in the world as well. That's what we do as artists, isn't it? We kind of look to one another and we get inspired. We take little bits and pieces from what they're doing, like today being inspired by Yafa from the Cornwall Art Hive. Just little bits and pieces that help, launch our projects. But also, when we do it, we're not stealing everything, but we're taking something in a new direction with what we have inside of us, what we have to offer. But I love how everything is interconnected somehow. It's so beautiful. And Wendy is, excellent, felting a bunny today. That's amazing. Oh my goodness. Wendy, you have been on fire with the needle felting. I saw those beautiful little needle felted brooches you made. They're extraordinary. I love them so much. Oh, and we have a conversation unfolding between Simone and Caitlin about the tarot cards. Love it so much. Nicole saying, unfortunately, interesting. So the crocheted rose, the glow in the dark stuff doesn't show up well unless you're close up. I might try another coat of paint. Interesting. Nicole, when you were talking about that, it almost reminded me of, and someone might know the name of this because I can't quite remember it. What am I looking for? That's what I'm looking for. There is, what do you call, I don't know if the fabric or the paper or if it's a kind of paper, but that gets bleached in the sun. So whatever you lay on top of it, you remove it, and then you have the imprint of that item there. Kind of reminds me of that a little bit with what you're doing. But maybe it doesn't need to be anything more than subtle. Maybe all you need is a whisper of the glow-in-the-dark rose, the suggestion of the rose. I don't know. I'm excited to see how that works out. And Momo saying, interesting. Momo's not very active on Instagram or Insta. I think that's a cool way of saying it, Insta. But we are trying. You are welcome to follow us, yay, on Insta at La Colmena de Arte, which is the Spanish-speaking art hive. So cool. It's a reason for me to learn how to speak Spanish. But I think before I speak Spanish, I should learn how to speak French first. That seems like it, just something that makes sense. I don't know. It's on my list. But please do follow, because again, like seeing what the other art hives are doing out there, I haven't yet been able to participate in another art hive in any of their live streams or Zooms, although we do sometimes get together. You know, I know there's a couple of connection opportunities for art hive facilitators and things like that. But so good. Like, there's amazing stuff. I skulk and I visit like a little bit of a tourist who's afraid to introduce themselves. And it does feel a little bit like being a tourist in a really lovely way. Like, I'm not able to travel these days. I'm sure, like a lot of us, we'd like to if we could. But when I look at what other artists out there are doing, what other art hives out there are doing, oh, it's just lovely. It feels like I'm getting to travel a little bit. It feels like I'm able to stretch my legs and get out there and experience things that are different than, you know, my kitchen or my grocery store. Oh, what's happening? Okay. And let's say, oh, great. Simone Cote sharing, my account is Artistry Wellness on Instagram for anyone interested. So, now I can make the connection. So this is lovely. Just seeing who people are and making the connections. And Laura's joining us. Hello, Laura. Hello, hello, hello. Sorry, I saw you joined a little late, but I needed tea and snacks. Tea and snacks, absolutely a priority. Always. Never need to apologize for being late or leaving early or jumping in and out. Do what's right for you, right? And this is archived afterwards, so it's not like this will disappear forever once it's done. You'll be able to come back if you want and see what, you know, catch up, look at what was missed. We're here. We're not going anywhere. And I do try to upload things on YouTube as well. It's pretty slow, and I'm off schedule this week, so I'm not doing it as consistently as I would like. But we try to upload them up, you know, a few weeks after the fact. Hopefully we'll get up to speed and have things like uploaded on YouTube a week or so after, so it's just a little more consistent. We're working on that. And Caitlin's saying, oh, just about the cards, not sure yet what her tarot card is going to be. Just pulled out her supplies and getting a card ready. The last card Caitlin made was the Ace of Wands. Oh, so you're actually, this is serious. This is like, you know stuff. You folks know stuff about tarot decks. I do not. I'm a bit of a cheater when it comes to that. I love the idea of it, but I don't know if I'm patient enough to follow through. Us human beings are interesting, huh? Strangely superstitious and fascinated. Well, I guess it's, you know, it's intuition. That's what it comes down to. Relationships we build with ourselves, between ourselves, and, you know, those meaningful things. It could be your creator. It could be, you know, who knows. We are meaning-making machines. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And Nicole saying, my friend took a Spanish course online during the pandemic. Good for them. Part of how she practiced was watching Spanish soap operas on YouTube with subtitles. You know what? I've heard a lot of folks learn new languages that way. I think I did take German in high school because, again, there's some German connections in my family. Although they spoke so fast whenever I speak to a naturalized, like a German speaker, I can't keep up with them, so it's really hard. Little bits and pieces pop out at me. But one of the things that helped when I was in, you know, the routine and practicing was, it was like I used to read German newspapers and from time to time German television shows with subtitles and just match things up. There's so many ways now to practice language skills, to exercise those muscles more regularly. I should really get back to it. Okay, so I'm not the only one who cheats with things. Caitlin's saying definitely still the cheater when it comes to the tarot card deck. You learn as you go. That's like life. So maybe it's not cheating. Maybe it's just life. We learn as we go. Oh, and thanks about the color blending. I do love playing with watercolors and just letting them blend. And I'm feeling like the top of my spinny disc thing, there must be a technical term for the thing I'm making. I just don't know what it is. I feel like I want it to be softer, and then the wheel underneath, I think I'll work on that with collage, and I think it'll just be a little more pop. It'll like a little more expressive, a little more dynamic visually. So I think I want that contrast, and then we'll play and we'll see where it goes. And Laura saying, so I have been helping my mom go through 74 years of correspondence. Wow. Cards and photos. Laura found a bag of negatives and wow, she gave her permission to toss them. But of course, Laura wanted to make something with them. I may stitch them together as a wall or window, a window hanging. Anyone have experience working with negatives? Maybe have other ideas. Good question, folks. So if you feel like, if you've ever had experience working with those negatives, and I think when you're talking about them, do you mean like film negatives as in the strips of negatives that you'd get on a roll of film, or like little slides, those little card slides that you'd put in the projector wheel? It's interesting. I know if you're working with the film negatives, if they are old, be careful with them with heat because I don't know all the ins and outs, but I know in the past film can be very combustible, so you want to make sure you're not accidentally creating a fire hazard. That being said, I'm sure there's ways to seal things so that you can make them safer. But folks, if you're out there and you've worked with these things before, please, feel free, let Laura know. Let's share those ideas. Hello, Shelley. Welcome. Oh, I'm so glad you're here. I'm glad you found us. I tried something new today, scheduling the live stream in advance. Again, thanks to Yafa and Kaiser, that's how they did their Thursday night live stream last week. And as far as I know, it sends out little alerts to people, little timed alerts when it's about to begin, letting people know in 5 minutes it'll be happening, such and such and such. So I was thinking about you when I was doing that, because I'm hoping that we can make it a little easier for folks to access the live stream, and if, so they don't miss anything if they don't want to. So let me know, folks. Again, I know Nicole was saying it was a little helpful, so that's good to know. If it was helpful for you too, let me know. And Momo's saying, I would love to learn more about the tarot cards and maybe make my own deck. Could someone recommend where or what to read about? So Caitlin, Simone, I'm going to throw that out there for you. What do you think? What do you think? And Laura's saying just about the film, yes, strips, not slides. Those make cool lampshades linked together with an LED light. Yes, you're right. I love that look. So the strips, I'm going to let that play in the back of my mind as I'm working on this. There's got to be really interesting things. I'm wondering if you could seal them between lamination sheets, those sticky sheets that I think you can still find at the dollar store. And then it might allow you to do similar things as with the film slides. I'm not sure. Maybe jewelry. Oh, good. So Shelley got an alert about the live stream today. Excellent. That is good. And Nicole's saying, has anyone ever mounted a fabric doily to a canvas before? Good question. I have not. I have seen someone who has stitched one onto a canvas. I remember that, I think it was Rachel Cheney from Le Milieu, the one of the art hives in Montreal, who also shared something about, I know it's a little off topic, it's not doilies to a canvas, but they had, there was an artist who integrates doilies into weavings, and usually using pieces of driftwood or tree branches. I think I'm just going to plop this on. I'm going to plop this right onto this as my base. And sort of linking the doilies to one another with different stitches, crochet stitches. So it looked a little bit like a really beautiful, intricate, artsy spider's web with these designs integrated into the web. And I think, yeah, as I was saying, I've seen doilies and things like that stitched on to canvas. So maybe that might help. I'm also using, this might be helpful, I'm using this today, a little brad. So these are paper fasteners. I love paper fasteners. I have a bit of an obsession with them. I mean, depending on what your doily is, what you want the look of the project to be, this might be another really easy way to fasten something of that nature onto a canvas. Just poke that through the canvas, securing your doily on there, and then, you know, those little wings fold out on the other side. I don't know. And let's see. Oh, cool. And yeah, Simone looking up the Ace of Wands, a card that signifies success in all aspects. Yeah, I agree. Yes, please to that. I think a little bit of success for each of us. And that might look like a different thing depending on who we are, where we are, what we're working on. I think we all could use a little bit of that in our days, in our lives these days. Let's see, where's that line going? Oh, so subtle. Yeah, cards about... So the strength card that Simone is working on is all about symbolizing power, energy, action, patience, and courage. The visual is of a woman and a lion. Oh my goodness. I agree, Caitlin. That sounds like it's full of strength. That sounds amazing. I love that patience is in that description as well. I think for someone like myself who's very impatient, I think all of those lovely, virtues, assets, gifts, skills, without patience, I think that they kind of fall apart, don't they? I've lost the line. I'm going to just trace it again. Let's see, where are you, line? Come back here. And Laura's saying, oh, yes, okay. Oh, so maybe this is something. So maybe there's a conversation going on about adhering the doilies onto the canvas. It sounds like Laura might have done that before using white glue. Folks, can I say just how much I'm loving the resource sharing that's happening today? It's just awesome. There's no two ways about it. All right. Resource sharing, relationship building, creativity unfolding in all the ways. I'm loving it. And Nicole's saying, yep, maybe she'll have to glue it since there is paint on the canvas. Yeah, see. Although, the stitching might still work if your canvas has been painted. And that only came to mind because of a workshop that one of our students is doing. Joanne will know about this. So this is an example of the canvas embroidery art that we've been doing on Mondays with Marta. And I'm having a ton of fun in this workshop, obviously. It's Monday morning at 10 a.m. I think the last one is happening this Monday. But the canvases were painted first, and then we poked holes in the canvas to create those little windows for stitching. So we were able to organize it really, really easily. And as long as you're not pulling too hard and the holes aren't too close together, you are able to, stitch onto the canvas even though it's been painted. So, that's just what I was working on. I'm loving this. So it's an option for folks if you're interested in that. And Joanna is saying you could, I like this idea, Joanna. You could spray the doily upside down with spray adhesive and then place it on the canvas. Yep, I think that works. And I think if we call upon our patience, usually for me, speaking from my own lived experience, when things don't work out for me, I'd say about 9 times out of 10 it's because I'm not being patient and I'm rushing the process. So I imagine something like that would work if there's some, you spray it, you sort of gently press it down and you let it dry fully. I'm betting that would work quite nicely if you happen to have any spray adhesive on hand. I know you can get spray adhesive in a lot of places now, like craft stores, art stores, but also like Home Depot, Canadian Tire. Because it's used for a lot of different things. Just I'd recommend using it outside. Because outside with a little bit of distance, because those little particles can get everywhere, and if you're inside, it's not good to inhale it. And if you have like anything, let's say like cat hair around you, the cat hair will find the glue, the tiniest particle of glue that's on you, and stick to you. Not forever. This obviously didn't happen to me. It happened to the friend. Yeah, a friend. But definitely anything with that aerosol. Safety first. Not the boss of you, but recommend doing it outside. And Caitlin, again, responding to that request from Momo, again, people feel free to, share with Momo just about the tarot thing. Caitlin saying, I've been learning a little bit with the tarot deck that I bought called the Secret Tarot. It's a non-traditional deck, but has a little guidebook. I also follow some people on TikTok and Instagram that are a great help. That's beautiful. I love that. Again, resources, all the different resources that are out there. And again, for Nicole, if you're gluing the doily, Laura suggests if you're using like a white glue, a more traditional glue, just brush it on the doily. But yeah, she's also saying you could stitch through the paint on the canvas too. I guess it's just about what aesthetically you like, what looks and feels right to you. Yeah, and tacky glue would be better. And so Nicole's, going to try the sewing. So I don't know if the glue will affect the glow in the dark stuff. Oh, good point. Yeah. Oh, yes, and thank you. My yes is fab. That is definitely inspired. I don't know why. But I've been thinking a lot about Yoko Ono. I've been thinking a lot about women who say yes to things. Oh, folks, and I forgot. Happy Trans Visibility Day. That's something I forgot. I wanted to say off the top and I totally forgot. So to all our trans brothers and sisters out there, sisters, brothers, others, I just want to say that I'm grateful that you're in our world. Thank you for being here. Thank you for hanging in and being your fabulous selves, and making our world a better place. Thank you. So yeah. So when I talk about women, of course I'm including trans women in this. Women in my life or who have influenced me in my life. Strong, fierce, beautiful, vulnerable, courageous, quiet, loud, all the things. Women who've put themselves out there in some way to make themselves available, taken advantage of those opportunities in life to make change, to be the people that they want to be and live the lives that they know they need and want to live. And Yoko Ono has, I guess the story that is out there that exists is that is how John Lennon connected with Yoko Ono at one of her early exhibits, where he climbed up on a ladder. The piece, I don't know what it was called. If someone out there knows what it's called, please let me know. He climbed up on the ladder. At the top of the ladder on the ceiling, I believe, was a tiny yes. That was the piece. And that's just lovely. Just that idea of yes. What happens when we say yes? We're allowed to say no, of course. But just that, knowing that potential, that possibility is always out there. And that's being, open to those opportunities when they come along. And of course, Amy Poehler, who's a comedian, has a lovely book called Yes. I think it might be Yes, Please, Thank You. I don't know. It's a great biography. It's a writer, a comedian, director, actor who has worked really hard to get where they are today. I recommend it. It's a good read. And Momo says, thank you everyone for that support. The tarot information, excellent. And I know there are lots of other places out there, lots of other resources. And of course, if anyone's interested as well, I know a huge influence in my life, not a traditional tarot deck, but soul collage. Creating your own customized archetypes and symbols that you can turn to. And there are so many different kinds. I know that not everyone out there, there's a lot of folks out there who don't necessarily feel comfortable with the idea of a classical traditional tarot, but in the creation of your own deck, you can draw upon or use any archetypes that are meaningful to you. So that's, if you're interested in learning more about soul collage, I believe the creator is Sina Frost. Am I getting that right? Maybe? But again, I love that idea. And again, I'm a total cheater because I'm impatient. And I never quite follow the rules with anything she advises. But it's another really interesting world to dive into, soul collage. Yeah. And there might even be a few facilitators here listening on the stream. So if you are a facilitator and you can train or teach, feel free to put your name and your links in the conversation in case there are folks out there who want to learn more about the process and how to do it in the way it was intended originally. Because there is something about tapping into our own, like learning to how to build a stronger relationship with ourselves intuitively so that we can turn, we can recognize the skills and wisdom we already have, that we already possess, and draw upon it when we need to. Just remembering that we always have that. And art, creativity, what a wonderful way to build that relationship, right? Because you don't always have to use words to do it. Oh yes, soul collage. So Momo knows soul collage, yes. So let's see. Soul collage is amazing. So please, facilitators, put your names in there. I think I know a few. I can check in with them and see if they wouldn't mind me sharing their contacts, because I imagine during this time they're also sharing and offering virtual lessons and virtual workshops as well. Such a beautiful thing. And let's see. Oh, Darlene. Hello, Darlene. Darlene says, was the background of the yes done by paint pouring? No, I actually just kind of, what's the technical term? Canoodled? Yeah, canoodled. So I'll just bring that back into frame for a second, and maybe I'll do a little close-up. Let's see if I can do that. There we go. So I just started with some colors that I love. I don't know if folks can tell after you've watched my live streams, blue and green. I kind of feel like I love those colors. So I just started playing with those colors and blending them really just spontaneously, not expecting too much. And then building up other layers over top. So I suppose it does have a kind of paint pour effect. And then I just swirled in a line across. Yeah, and some dots. I just kind of went with my gut and let it happen. And when I can get into that place where I can, my inner critic quiets down enough to take a little bit of a break, that's a good thing. Well, especially because I have more than one inner critic. So when they all quiet down, that's a good moment. I love those moments. So yeah, the paint pour effect, you could do it with the paint pouring effect as well, I'm sure. Although stitching through it might be a little more difficult because I imagine you might have the acrylic layers might be a little thicker, a little more difficult to pierce with the needle. But it's worth a try. Why not try it? Yeah, try it. Give it a go. And let me know how it works out if you do try it. Nicole says, I was going to work on something today, but I can't find it right now. How many other people can relate? Oh, Nicole. I'm guessing quite a few people. Especially knowing the creative energy that's out there. What I'm imagining is that everyone has a bunch of different projects that they're working on. Because that's how a lot of artists work. I know there must be a few folks out there who work on one project at a time until it's done. But I imagine more often than not, we have a bunch of things. So of course the one that you want to work on in the moment can't be found. That makes total sense. All right, let's start layering some images down here, building up. Again, I guess, which is a kind of intuitive collage that I'm working on today. And Carlos says, yes, so this is a kind of calling back to the workshop, the Wellness Art Workshop group that Caitlin co-hosts with Kat V. They take turns, and sometimes they will join and co-facilitate together. So it's so much fun. So lovely. Again, two awesome human beings. But Carlos says, yes, Caitlin did an awesome wellness session last night about soul collage. Lovely. It was awesome and encouraged some healthy reflection. I'm currently finishing off my digital soul collage now. Yay! Right? You can do digital collage. That's something I'd like to learn more about. Carlos, perhaps a live stream in the future? Digital collage work? Okay, I hope that stare wasn't too weird. Just a little bit weird. And Darlene's saying, "Oh, cool, love it. Yeah, let me know if you try how you work out with that technique. It's lovely. I'm having a blast with it. The stitching on the painted canvas, I love it. I love it. I really do." Oh, Nicole found your project. Oh, see how quickly that resolved. How lovely is that? All right, next flower. I think the inspiration for this collage and the wheel, I think it must have come out of the conversations we were having last week about growing and growth and allowing that growth. As the last word on my scroll was grow, suggested by Laura. And that's one thing I find really fascinating too, because after the fact I thought, how could I not have included that word on my scroll? It seems so obvious in retrospect, but sometimes that's where the best learning points come from. It's not necessarily what's in your artwork, it's what's not in your artwork. Either intentionally or accidentally taking that moment to question what's not there that should be there, or is there anything that's not there that should be there? Such a great conversation to have with your art, no matter what kind of art you make or create. Just to revisit and say, what is there anything that should be in this piece or should be a part of this process that isn't? Yeah, such a great question. One of my favorites. I always learn so much from asking that question. Oh, interesting. So let's see. So Carlos says, I can't take the credit. I'm using a Collage app. Well, that's okay. That's all right. I think, why not, right? I love it. Even a Collage app is amazing. And Momo says, I love digital collage too. Seems like I love everything. What's wrong with that? And Carlos, what do you use? I'm very basic. I use Canva. Okay, this is great. I love, because I'd like to know too of some of the collage apps that are out there. Someone was telling me that there's also an app kind of like like a corkboard app that you can use in a kind of collagey way with artwork, with different pictures or images you upload. See, I remember when I heard of a certain app that almost everyone in the world uses, where you can pin things. I got super excited because in my mind, what I was imagining was a virtual corkboard, like something that you could overlap and pin and arrange things on. Like I love the idea of collecting and cultivating and curating, documenting. But I think I still am missing that. What I love about a good corkboard, and everyone knows, well, folks who know the studio, we used to have, one of my favorite works in process in the studio was the community support board that we had in the bathroom. In my mind, it was one of the best community collaborations, the creative collaborations that we had, where people would put up little notices to self. So it was like a notice board, but a notice me board, or a notice something important board, where people would post supportive or encouraging memos or just nice things, something that someone might want to or need to hear or see or read. And we had so many amazing notes up on this board. I loved the messages, but I also loved how people arranged them on the board and just the visual impact of walking into this tiny bathroom and seeing this wall of color and support there. And that's why every Monday we've been posting notices from that board. We don't have a studio space anymore, but I saved all those messages. They're still here. And if folks would like to submit new messages, please do. They can be digital ones as well. We can continue the community support board project and just continue lifting everyone up in little tiny ways. Yeah, I love it. And let's see. So Joanna can relate, Nicole. Joanna says, I work on so many projects at once. I'm a swimmer, not a diver. That's a really great description of of that creative process and what it can feel like. Having all those projects, swimming in projects. I love it. But not alone, Nicole, not alone. But since Nicole has found her project, Nicole, the project is repairing some seams from one of the first dolls you made. Oh, wonderful, wonderful. Wonderful. Yeah, I love the dolls you create. They're full of, loaded with personality. Loaded. And Momo says, oh, yep, okay, oh, I'm revisiting comments, overlapping a little bit. It happens. But yeah, sharing those digital collage apps. And if anyone has in mind what I'm imagining in my head, please let me know. I'd love to find that app if it exists. And oh, Nicole found it. It was hiding in the wrong crocheted doll cast. That's right, because the dolls you make are of casts of the shows, the stories that you love. And there you go. The dolls jumping around a little bit, having some fun. Yeah, Joanna's saying the stitching on canvas is so satisfying. And thank you, Marta. Come join us. Yeah, folks, come join us. There's still one more workshop left. And of course, nothing stops you from doing it on your own either. Hot chocolate coffee. Just bring a canvas, any size, any shape, prepared, so the paint is dried so that you can begin stitching with whatever image you have in mind. I used, I kind of traced out my image by piercing on top of paper, so I got everything just so, because that's where my brain was at. But you can also do something spontaneous. I think Joanna was working with a spontaneous, beautiful, flowy image. It's really quite satisfying. I totally agree, Joanna. So it's Monday at 10 a.m. if you're hanging out. I know it's a holiday for a lot of folks, Easter Monday. If you'd like to join, please do. And Momo says, interesting reflection, Mary. Is like reflecting on who is not at the table. Great question. Yeah, that what is missing from my art. Who is not at the table? Yeah, similar, but in relation to yourself or myself in that process. And sometimes I learn really interesting things about maybe stuff I'm avoiding, perhaps, or I don't know. There's just so many things that could always be a part of anything and everything, right? But when I take time at the end of a project or in the process of a project to ask the question, it gets a little more specific. And just that window of reflection. Yeah. I think I first learned that, or maybe I first asked that question. I think it was when I was working as an art therapist. But it just makes so much sense. And it feels like it's very much belongs in the intuitive process. So who knows? I'm trying to think if I'd read anything by Pat B. Allen at that point. Because I know that Pat Allen, that's a huge part of everything that she does. That building the relationship with yourself, dialoguing with your art. Some people do it quite like intuitively, naturally. I wasn't always like that. But now I've started, I just can't stop. And then if anyone doesn't know Pat B. Allen, I do encourage you, Google, search Pat B. Allen, some fantastic resources out there. Again, a bit of a mentor for a lot of folks in the Art Hive world. I'm a bit of a fangirl. Every time I find myself in the same room with Pat B. Allen, and I have to say their entire name, I turn into a bit of a fangirl, and I can't speak. Just silly. But that's how cool she is. And yes, Carlos saying, I'd forgotten about Canva. I may use that next time. Carlos is currently using an app called Photo Collage. There's a scrapbook option when accessing the main page. It's on iOS and Android. Thank you very much. I might check that out. Have some fun. And of course, digital art is still something I'd like to explore more of. I've never done it, but more and more I'm seeing all these really interesting pieces being created. And I think for a long time, digital art maybe had like I don't know, people in the fine arts world anyways kind of look down on it as something that was used in more commercial enterprises, maybe. But what the kind of work I'm seeing, the kind of processes involved are exactly the same as to some, not in all ways perhaps, but there's a lot of similarity. There's a lot of similarities between the work we do in so-called traditional art processes. You're still asking yourself questions. You're still having to go through and, you know, adjust and seek, learn about, you know, what feels right. Just using different tools to do it. And Jamboard, okay. Oh, Simone, thank you. Simone says Jamboard is another digital collage app. Okay, this is great. Yay. Do I want this forehead in here? I don't know. I know I want the cat in there. You know what? I don't think I want that forehead. I'm sorry, lovely woman in this advertisement, but I'm going to cut you out of it. Sorry. I think it would be really nice to have a job when you working with animals for a day in a photo shoot or in a commercial. I say that, but I think it would be kind of fun to hang out with animals and get paid to do it. Oh, there's still time. So Carlos is going to check out Jamboard. That's awesome. Nicole saying, I like the Polish app for my Instagram stuff. Okay, since I generally take photos of my creations, I find it great for captions. Oh, yes, adding captions. Also, it has a whole bunch of stickers and effects, and I love that it's free. Free is helpful. Free is very helpful. Especially for, you know, folks in Canada working on any digital, you know, we pay a lot for our devices. So free is helpful. All right, let's see what we got here, where we want. I'm going to cut out the power tube because I might want that as a separate thing. I'm going to save those words. Love those words. Okay, and let's see. Mary says, hi, Mary. Oh, thank you for your digital corkboard. I think they're, oh, Jamboard. So this is interesting. I'm going to have to check it out. Momo also suggests Padlet. It gives you 3 free boards. That's great. So for 3, like a free trial for 3 boards. I use the free version all the time. If you want a Skillshare, I'd be happy to host it individually for the community or for the community. Momo, that's out there now. I'll be in contact soon. Because I'd love to include digital art, especially maybe in one of our Thursday night live streams to see, you know, how people, you know, just provide other options for people to create. There's so much, yeah. Oh, I'd love that. Skillshares are great. Let's do more of them, please. All right, what other images do I have here? These eggs are speaking to me, these robin's eggs in the nest, but... And that caption, of course. I think I'm going to save that for something else, though. Okay. Let's see. Although I have this tinier nest here. There we go. I'll use that. So thank you so much. And you know what, folks? If there are people out there who are interested in hosting a Skillshare, so it could be a Skillshare on, like we've been doing with the Durham College Fine Arts students, a Skillshare on Instagram where you don't have to be on camera, that you could be talking me through a process in the chat. Super fun. Like that's an option we can do. There are lots of different ways that we can incorporate, you know, sharing knowledge. And you can also, of course, if you're interested, let me know about hosting a live stream on a Thursday night. Part of the reason why we have the Thursday night live streams is so that we can shine a light on what community members are creating, but also reintroduce some faces. So it's not just my face all the time. so that you can meet new people or connect with new artists or creators or makers. So please, if you're out there and you're interested and you feel like you'd feel okay doing like a live stream on Facebook for the living room. Not everyone is, and that's okay. Let me know. Send me an email at info@livingroomcommunityartstudio.org. Longest email address in the world. I do apologize for that as well. But once you have it down, you never forget it, right? It's like the alphabet. It pretty much is the whole alphabet in that email address. Oh, bye-bye, Momo. Momo's got to run, but I'll be in contact, Momo. You know I will. And Nicole says, the robin eggs remind me of the malted eggs you can get at Easter. That's right. It is that time of year too, isn't it, folks? I'm hoping that everyone is able to take care of themselves and enjoy this weekend in Canada anyways, or at least in Ontario. We have a holiday, a long weekend. I know not everyone will have the long weekend, but it's a nice opportunity for folks to take a breather. We're taking Friday the day off. So if anyone was interested, I know some folks were coming out for the music painting workshop that Maddie was leading. We're hosting that workshop tomorrow, Thursday afternoon instead, and we're going to take the day off on Friday. But in the evening time on Friday at 7 p.m., we actually have a lovely spoken word performance by Cass Meyer. So if folks aren't familiar with Cass Meyer, just an extraordinary creator, activist, social worker, but artist who is based out of Toronto, has roots in Durham region, I think. But they, with the support of the League of Canadian Poets, will be hosting, or if I'll be hosting, I guess, but they're going to be sharing some of their spoken words. So there'll be about a 20-30 minute performance on Instagram Live this Friday night, 7 p.m., and a Q&A afterwards. So if folks have questions about spoken word or what it's like to be out there performing as an artist, being published, recorded, documented as a spoken word artist, or just to want to talk to Cass about what it's like to be Cass, or any issues that are important to you, please feel free to join us. 7 p.m. this Friday, live stream on Instagram. And of course, April is National Poetry Month. So I think it's also a really great way to kick off a month where we hope to highlight and spotlight the power of language and storytelling through poetry, spoken word, things like that. I know there are a lot of folks out there who have stories to tell. And you may not be ready to tell them yet. You may not want to. But if you have a hankering, if you think somewhere down the road you might want to, it might be time for you. Think about joining us on Friday. And tomorrow, of course, Thursday, we have the next workshop in our spoken word series with Danielle, who's leading the way. We had a great turnout last week, and it was lovely just to get dug in, get stuck in with some activities that help spark spoken word writing, poetry writing. So everyone's welcome to join. Let's see, what else wants to be here? Kind of that process of just looking through magazines to see what jumps out, what images are speaking to me, even if I don't know why they're speaking to me. And there's one. Thimble. A thimble. This could be, now I'm thinking a little bit in tarot terms. This feels like a protector. A protector in creative moments of vulnerability and courage. Creative courage. With a thimble by your side, or on your finger, I suppose, is where it does the, most work. It's best for you. Let's see. And let's see, Barb. Hello, Barb. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Barb says, good afternoon, fellow creators. Oh, isn't that awesome? Easter decorating today. Excellent, of course. Wreaths and baskets, candles, and outdoor fun for the kids walking by. Oh, so you're doing something for the... Oh, how lovely. Of course. Of course. Doing something for the community so that they can enjoy and appreciate. That's lovely. So let's see, hoping to decorate our tree outside with cardboard eggs with positive words on them. A little community support tree. Oh my goodness. That's lovely. That's lovely. I love it so much. Oh my goodness. I don't have a tree on my front lawn. I have a window. Laura, if you're still out there and watching, listening, I know you decorate your window all the time for the community. Let's see, I'm realizing that I should find the center point in this circle so that I can pierce it and maybe put things together in a way that folks can get an idea of what I'm working on before the end of this workshop. Let's see if I can do that. That requires a little bit of math, doesn't it? A little bit of measuring. Oh dear. Anyone have any suggestions about how I can find the center of this wheel, the center point of this wheel? Let's see. Yeah, is anyone else doing anything special for the weekend, or either special for yourself or for the community? Again, having a little bit of extra time if you're lucky enough to have some extra time. Such a great opportunity for self-care, for just revisiting, giving yourself some quiet time. I know not everyone can, but again, we are in this really interesting time. People... You know, the vaccinations are beginning to happen. I know things, you know, in some ways are a little nervous making. But it feels like everyone is doing their best and moving forward, trying to take care of one another and themselves. And I love that. I appreciate that so much. Let's see. And yes, Laura says, we treeless folk need to get creative. Yeah. Well, I know you've been posting things in your window, creating art windows for the community, as has your community on a whole, I think. I think it was a community project, which I love. Oh, let's see if I can do this. I used this lid as a guide. I wonder if this can help me. Just give me a general sense of where to put this center point piercing. You know what? And it doesn't need to be perfect, does it? Okay, let's see. Is this actually helpful, or is it, okay, so I'm getting an idea. Or what if I flip it around and maybe I can indent? No, that's not necessarily. Well, this is the internal dialogue in my head. So, okay. So I'm going to just I'm going to look. I'm going to say it's like there. I'm just going to go for it. I'm just going to go for it. Oh, Laura, but then you have, okay, Joanna and Laura coming to my rescue. Because look how impatient I am. Saying, yes, okay, trace on paper and fold in 4, center will be found, punch hole through middle. Joanna, educator, thank you for that common sense. And Laura with another piece of wonderful common sense, measure across and divide. Maybe do it twice across, so like that. And all right. Okay, all right. These people with their common sense and excellent suggestions. I think this is why I would never, sometimes people just leaning over, out of shot here. There have been people in the past who've asked or suggested, why don't you go into teaching? The truth is, because I'm so terribly impatient, I don't think I could ever. I think I'm a terrible teacher. It's no shame. Not my calling. It's okay. No shame in that. But thank you for coming to my rescue. And we'll see how much my sort of rushing guesswork worked out when I lay this over top. It's a fabulous experiment. And Laura saying, yes, okay, so the name of the project that the community was working on was called, if you want to find it or search it on Instagram, I think, or maybe even on Facebook, you can let me know, Laura. It's #FromMyWindow, but I have actually been doing it for years, just for fun. Of course you have. That's, again, the amazing thing about artists in the community. we make art even when nobody's watching. We make art when we're not getting paid. And if we have an opportunity to share that art just for the sake of sharing it, we do, don't we? We find ways. That artist spirit, that creativity, that resilience is such an extraordinary thing. I never want to be without that in my life. I'll save that. There's some good scraps I can still use. All right, here we go. This makes sense to me. The hands-on measuring kind of muddles my brain, the idea of measuring. And I know I'm a sewer too. That whole measure twice, cut once thing, I'm still learning how to do that. I just build in extra time and always get extra fabric. All right. Oh, it's worldwide. So Laura says the From My Window project was worldwide. That is awesome. So we can check it out, folks, on Instagram and Facebook. And Caitlin says, I have to run, but really enjoyed this. Hope everyone has a great afternoon. Oh, I hope you have a great afternoon too, Caitlin. Thank you for being here and taking part. So I'm just going to move these little bits and pieces off here. And then what I will do is center it on both pieces. Oh, glued that to the board. And folks, if you have to run to, if there are errands you have to see to, or maybe you just want to take a break, get outside, feel free. My feelings won't be hurt. And you can always catch up on anything you've missed if you want to later on. Once it's archived, you can revisit the live stream. It might say live stream has ended, but let's see, I'll poke a hole through this first. So let's see, I'll do that there. But you can still watch, of course. Oh, I know what I can do. Now I do have my little awl thing over here, so I'm going to grab that. One of my favorite tools, an awl, and eyeball it. That's my motto. Yeah, that's usually my motto as well. Sewing and baking, though, two things where sometimes it's helpful to just, get a little more specific. Okay, wheel, hang in there with me. Now, of course, the wonderful thing about this wheel is I can always cheat it. And if it's not exactly exact, I might create a serrated edge around the outside so it looks roughly and like it's on purpose. See, go with the flow. Sometimes those mistakes are happy accidents. There we go. And I'll put this in. Now what I'm going to do is create a little window around this now that I know where my center point is. And this I probably will eyeball. Just tracing a little window that I'm going to cut out. Is that where I want it? Yeah. Well, yeah. Ah, why not? I'll trim that out. I remember the eyeballing thing is interesting. I remember reading something. I should have bookmarked the article, but it was a really interesting article on hand skills and the idea of, you meet those people in life, those creative people who've just been doing something for such a period of time that they can eyeball it. They seem to have this magical power just to do something and get it right and have it work out. And oftentimes it comes from just a lifetime or the experience of doing something in such a way that it's built into their body. Whether you like to look at it like the neurological pathways have been built and strengthened over time. So it's like this fantastic knowledge in the muscles and in the memory, or perhaps just a sense of it, however you'd like to look at it. I love the idea that if we do something enough, that we can eyeball it after a certain amount of time because it will feel right and we'll have that intuitive sense. Again, that idea of intuition coming up, but this intuitive sense when something doesn't feel right or when it doesn't fit in the way that we think it'll need to. And watching someone who has that expertise and it is a kind of expertise, isn't it? A knowledge, an intuitive skill, life-based, experience-based kind of lived experience knowledge. It's really amazing to watch, those people work and create. Now, if I had an X-Acto knife, yeah, I could probably use that to get this just so. But again, I'm impatient. I'm impatient. There's an X-Acto knife right over there. You think that I'd take some time to reach for it? Meh. I can revisit it later. I'll revisit it later. But I wanted to get a sense and give you a sense of what this will look like when it's done. So I'll choose one of these little grommets. Maybe I will choose orange. Not grommets, are they? They're paper fasteners. Sometimes called brads. No idea why they're called brads. No idea at all. Come. Work with me here. And this is where we find out just how conceptual I'll have to get. Oh, Nicole, got to go. Well, thank you so much for being here, Nicole. Enjoy the rest of your day and your weekend. And Nicole says, stay safe, everyone. Thanks for all your help. Thank you for, reaching out for help. Thank you for being here and reaching out for help. And Jenny Vandermeer is saying, love the thimble image. Great connection to protection. I agree. Yeah. The things we, I think I love the thimble image as well. It somehow connects to, it's such an ancient tool. Right, something that women have been using since the beginning of time, I imagine, to help them in their tasks, in their projects, their labors of love. So, okay, there we go. So again, yeah, it's a little off center. Yeah, just like me. Just like me. I'll figure out a way to make it work. Let me trim that off right now since... So you'll see that as the wheel turns, you get to see different things, and I'm hoping that I'll expose different elements, different images to kind of help me through or guide me or spark maybe new creative projects or like act as a prompt in some way. And Laura's saying, interesting, so just on that hand skills thing, Tetris made my spatial awareness keen. That's how I can pack boxes on a cart at work so well, or load a car with stuff. I kind of have to agree with you there. Oh, Wendy. Oh, Wendy. So Wendy says, okay, now I have to make some more thimble necklaces. So for folks who don't know, you can find Wendy's work, Hummingbird. Oh, what is it? Wendy, you have to share your Instagram account here too, so folks can find some of the beautiful jewelry that you create, repurposed, recycled, upcycled jewelry, and you have thimble necklaces. Yeah, Wendy, please. I think there might be a few folks in the community who'd be interested in some of those thimble necklaces. They're simple symbols, right? Like so much is in that like just the symbol, the idea of a thimble. This tiny little thing. The legacy of the thimble. I love it. One Hummingbird Lane, is that your Insta account? Am I getting that right? Is that, and or your, you also have an Etsy page, don't you? So please share it, and then we'll all rush over and see if we can snag some thimble necklaces. And Jenny saying, I envisioned my mother's hands knitting, darning, sewing. Yes, right? The tools that we have, that we've created, sometimes out of necessities, sometimes out of, well, pleasure. I've seen some pretty fancy thimbles out there in my time as well. But again, these things that we pass down hand to hand, literally. Like, Laura has taught me this, actually. Laura, who's on this stream right here, there, Laura Ann Brown by LB, collects and finds, or has collected and found beautiful, I guess, darning needles and different tools for repairing and mending clothing, mending textiles over time. And for a long time, no one really wanted them. And Laura, being the magical treasure finder that she is, would find them. And oftentimes some of them would find their way to the studio. And it's through Laura, really, I have to honor this, that I found this new appreciation, that I've begun to look at these simple tools that women, and not only women, you know, there's plenty of men who have used them in their time too. But these tools that are often overlooked and kind of thrown away in a culture that often has been taught to throw away things. These tools are extraordinary, and because of Laura, I've learned to use them, to pick them up and actually learn how to use them, and to repair and to mend, and to think about the history, the legacy that they've had, whose hands have held them before, and what they've been used for. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing. So thank you, Laura. And thank you to everyone out there who's taught me things, actually, as long as we're on thank yous and gratitude. My time in the studio, both virtual and in the actual physical studio space when we had it, I've learned so much. I've learned to appreciate so much. I've moved beyond the ideas of, what fine art is or who artists are. And every time I engage, every time I learn more about just what to treasure, what's really important in this world. I can't thank you enough for that. So thank you, everyone. And your darning thing, you're so welcome. Yes, Laura, it's because of you. And I've been stashing them and saving them, because once the mobile art studio is up on the road, I want to do a repair cafe. I would love to do a repair cafe. So that will happen one day. So I want to have a nice assortment that I can share with people. So that is something that's really important to me as well. And the mobile art studio will get on the road, folks. I promise. I promise. It'll get on the road. Let's see. These might overlap a little bit, but maybe that's okay. And I'm also now addicted to looking for other devices that can be used to darn or mend things. So I think, as vices go, not a bad vice. But I have become intoxicated by the world of visible mending and just learning what you can do, the simple things you can do to transform something that might otherwise go in the garbage or to Value Village or, turned into rags. I'm quite excited about learning how I can actually extend its life and make it more interesting, more characterful, more beautiful. Oh, excellent. So Laura's in when it happens. Wendy, excellent. Good to know. That repair cafe will be there. Well, maybe Wendy, I need to send out some messages. Maybe, I want to know, Wendy, would you be interested? Would you be interested in doing a little live stream demo of upcycling something simple in jewelry? I know there's a lot of people out there who've thought about doing it before. Just a thought, I don't know. Maybe something to talk about. Again, folks, if you're out there and you have a project or some technique that you'd like to share with people, please let me know. There might be lots of different ways we can do it. Oh, yes, I am, before this wraps up, because we are coming to a close. We've got about 10, 15 minutes left. For those folks who didn't have an opportunity to participate in the Listening to Our Neighbors project, that is still happening. So, Wendy, thank you. I'm contacting people. All right. So the Listening to Our Neighbors project was something we started last year around this time, actually, where it was focused on Oshawa. So apologies to folks who don't live in Oshawa, although you're welcome to explore creating a project of this nature where you live too. We're looking for people to share their stories about their communities, specifically the priority neighborhoods within Oshawa. So that's South Oshawa, downtown Oshawa, Central Park, Oshawa, which is kind of the neighborhood I'm in, around the Botanical Gardens here, Gibbs Street West, and Beatrice North, which is kind of the non-Quan area. We started collecting stories last year, And we're hoping to capture people's voices as well, so that we can have a visual and an audio component to this project. The stories will inspire 5 neighborhood portraits by Danny Crosby. And we will be also creating a soundscape to go along with them. So if you haven't had a chance yet to participate and share the stories about what you love, what you hope for in your neighborhood, please feel free to join in the workshops we have coming up in April through Oshawa Libraries. You can visit Oshawa Libraries to learn more about that project and when the workshops are coming up. They're going to take place on Tuesdays, I think 2 p.m. So we'll be bumping our live stream artist chats a little earlier to accommodate that. But if you want to participate, please do. They're going to be Zoom experiences, so we'll also have a chance to connect and see one another and listen to one another in real time, which is awesome. Oh, the Repair Cafe thing seems like it's got legs. Excellent. Jenny says, I have been collecting sewing paraphernalia for years. I have a lot of darning needles and found a darning bob. Oh, so the bobs, are they the things that kind of look like doorknobs? Again, I have these, but I don't know the proper terms for them, really. Darning eggs, I think sometimes I've seen as well. Excellent. Yeah, I collect them now whenever I can because of Laura. And Jenny saying, I'm very interested in a repair cafe. This is good. This is good. I love it. I had the most relaxing morning the other day, just repairing socks. And again, I am impatient and I am self-taught. So I don't think I'm doing it the way my great-grandmother might have done it, for example. But I'm getting the job done. And I like it. It's relaxing and it feels good to do it. So good to know. We will keep an eye out in the future for Repair Cafe events. And I know I'll be calling on you folks to, if you can, when we can gather safely, to be there perhaps to volunteer and share your skills, your wisdom, your joy of all of these traditions with other people. I think it's time. Yeah. And in the meantime, now that you know we are, wanting to create more Repair Cafe ideas, I mean, it might also be good to look into the other things, areas of repair, to see what other resources we have in our community. You might be someone who knows how to tinker and repair things like sewing machines or toasters. We need folks like that too. We need those skills as well. Oh my goodness. I'm really looking forward to seeing how this wheel turns out. Let's see, let me trim this away so I can get a sense of... It's a work in progress, but I'm loving it. First time I've ever done anything exactly like this for this reason. So thank you to Yafa from Cornwall Art Hive for inspiring this. If you haven't had a chance to check out the Cornwall Art Hive, please do. They're on Instagram and Facebook, I believe. And again, a reminder, tomorrow morning, 11 a.m., we have the second wonderful spoken word workshop with Danielle. I'm going to be there, writing my heart out, learning more about how I can become fearless and speak my truth. You're welcome to join if you want. It's a Zoom group, so the link is in the Facebook event. So here we are. Oh, so this is fun. Oh, darning. Darning Bob is your name for it, Jenny's saying. Not sure of the right term. Neither am I. You know what? Maybe there's not a term. Maybe everyone called it whatever, that's what we do as humans, right? The name for the thingamajig that makes the most sense. And then the thingamajig becomes the proper term as far as we know. There you go. There you have it. So, yeah. So this is interesting. So a little wheel where every window, hopefully, as I turn it, will reveal something different. I'll keep on adding things to this and fiddling with it to get it just so. But I kind of like where this is going. And I think I might add something else on the top of this too. There's that thimble. Oh, and I might expand that window so we can see a little more of everything. Yeah. And back to the cat. Yeah, I don't know why, but this gives me so much pleasure. And that's a good thing on days like this. Oh, well, I guess we're in a good place to begin wrapping things up. Like I said, I'm going to continue working on this. I hope everyone's doing okay with their projects out there. I'm curious to see where you're at. You know what? I'll post a show and tell post on the Facebook page after this. If you'd like to upload photos of what you're working on or projects that you've made that resonate or somehow speak to the kind of conversations we've been having today, please feel free. It'll go up probably in about 15-20 minutes. It'll be there. So no rush, but if you want, you can add your pictures in there. We can continue the conversation with one another about all of these things that matter to us. But for now, I am so glad that you folks have joined me today. What started out as a gray and gloomy day has definitely lifted, and I feel so much sunnier now. So thank you so much. Oh, and Laura has a repaircafe.org address for everyone. I think has great info. And here in Port Hope, where Laura is, we had sewers, knitters, small appliance repairs, bike repair, jewelry, musical instruments, knife sharpening, all kinds of skills. That sounds like an extraordinary day. And you know what? It sounds like something we might be able to do safely in this time we're in, once the summer is here and we can space out in a park. And once the mobile studio is up, we'll have some energy so that folks can plug into, and maybe we can rely on maybe the cities will have us out. Maybe there'll be some other partners we can work with to ensure that everyone has access for, to the things that they need to do the repairs they need. Fantastic. Thanks so much for sharing that, Laura. Oh, and Joanna saying thank you. I thank everyone. Thank you all for being here. And Carlos saying thanks as well as always today. And everyone else that was here. Hope you all have a safe and groovy week. So not just a good week, but Carlos wants you to have a groovy week. Invitation open. Let's get groovy this week, folks. Why not? Why not? Thank you so much for being here. Again, yeah, my spirits are lifted. I'm feeling sunny. I'm feeling creative. And that's all because of you. Thank you so much. Keep on taking care of yourself, listening to that creative intuition, connecting with yourself, having that dialogue with your art. Thank you for being out there and for inspiring me, as always. And until we can connect and create with one another again in person, I look forward to creating and connecting with you right here online. Can't wait to see everyone again soon. Thanks so much. Mwah. Bye, everybody. Take care and keep creative. Bye.